Sean on the beat.
Welcome everybody. We are tuned back in to another episode of the SIPTLK podcast. And I got a special guest with me today, man. What's going on, Josh?
Man, what's up, big dog, man? Appreciate you having me on, man.
Man, I appreciate you inviting me here, man.
For sure.
I've been waiting on this for a long time, man.
That's right.
Finally got the scheduling together, buddy. As always, man, we got to do the check-ins, man. We got to see how you doing today, man. How you rate yourself today from 1 to 10?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, man. Overall, man, I probably would say about an 8 or a 9.
Today?
I'm doing pretty good. Not 10 because I didn't get everything done, but yeah. 8 or a 9 because I'm pretty fulfilled, and I can. I feel like, okay, yeah, I did something today.
You seem like you're a pretty goal-oriented guy, though, man. Like, you seem like you gotta have everything. It's like if it don't go the way it's supposed to, it seems like you'll be real hard on yourself. Yeah,
I'm pretty tough critic of my own, for sure. And goals, if you don't set the goals, you're not gonna know where you're going.
Yeah.
You can just have dreams all day, but if you get the goals, write them down, that's really what pushes you right there. You're pushing yourself more than anybody else.
Okay, yeah, I understand that, man. Well, today I'll probably say I'm about an 8 with you, man. It's been a pretty good day today.
That's good.
Just busy, but it is what it is. Come with the territory, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right, man. So we're gonna start it out. Shout out to you being the the top 40, the top 20 under 40.
Top 20 under 40.
Top 20 under 40 in Oxford, man. Tell me how did that come about, man?
So this is the second year that they've done the top 20 under 40, sponsored by Oxford Eagle, Oxford Magazine, Oxford Lafayette County Chamber of Commerce, and the Young Professionals of Oxford. So I'm kind of already in that circle already. So I sit on the board of the Chamber of Commerce, the board of directors, and I sit on the board of once you start sitting on one, they start bringing you in. They're like, "Oh, you're good at this, so come on, let's do this one." But I'm on the board of directors for the Young Professionals of Oxford as well. So that's everybody. We kind of do under 40 or so, mostly like people that are like college students or just getting out of college or what have you. But that circle of people, I wouldn't have found out about it, without them. But last year they had it for the first time, and I worked the door as a Young Professionals member. And I was just telling the editor my story, just kind of what I do and everything. She was like, "Oh, we need to get you in there next year."
Yeah.
And I was like, I had to apply for it the year before. You kind of get nominations and then see how many votes you get. And then by the end of that, I was like, whatever. But that's what happens sometimes. You chalk it up to God. You was like, okay, I didn't get it this time, but next time I just kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
And like almost a week into the voting, I'm like, well, let me just see what happens. And people started sharing it on social media.
Yeah.
I got family members involved and kind of let the rest of it go, and it's history.
Yeah, I like that, man. Like they always say, like the saying goes, man. He may not be on your time, but he's always on time.
That's right. That's right.
Amen to that.
That's right.
All right, man. I want to take it back to these humble beginnings, man. First, I want to start out by asking you what type of relationship you had with moms first, and then I want you to go to the other side of it and talk about dad.
Okay. With my mom, anybody that knows my mom, she's like the sweetest person you ever meet. And it's hard to not like her. She's just loving, caring, nice person. If you met her today, she would instantly take on to you just because you're attached to me.
Yeah.
You had something to do with me. So she's going to try to bake you stuff and give you gifts. She remembers everybody's birthdays, all the holidays. And that part of that comes to me.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I do a lot with my kids on that. So I had that nurturing, caring side of her.
Yeah.
but we have really close relationship. I work with her every day in the family business, her and my dad. So I see her every day. So it's like you almost could say we're friends, you know, best friends, like me and my mom and my dad. So my wife, you didn't ask me about my wife, but she's my best friend too. That's my real best friend. But anyway, yeah, I mean we're real close. I can't complain. We kind of sharpen each other.
Yeah.
And she plays kind of devil's advocate, so to speak, between me and my dad sometimes, because he's a little tough. And she tells me stuff, you know, behind he's like, oh, he said this, and this. Kind of help me straighten up. And I kind of do the same thing for her. So, and getting on in age, she's actually listening to a lot of that stuff.
That's good.
And I'm still taking stuff from her, too. So
That's definitely good.
But with my dad, he instilled that work ethic in all of us. I've got 2 brothers and a sister. And the way we were raised is, you know, work first, and that includes school and at the house, in the business, all those things. You get to work first, and then you get to play. So that's kind of how I'm so serious sometimes because of that.
Yeah.
And when I met my wife, I was like super serious, and she was like, "Why are you so serious all the time?" And I got a joke inside of me too, but it's like, man, it's too much to be done.
Yeah.
And he's the same way. He's getting on in years, and he's thinking like, you know, the time is ticking. It's stuff that I got to do. I don't want to leave you guys with such and such. I want to make sure y'all are set up.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and that's the same thing I'm trying to do for my kids. But I mean, he's guess one of my best friends too, you could say, because he gives me, and we kind of, you know, rub each other the wrong way every now and then. But,
that's gonna happen.
But
man.
At the end of the day, it's my dad. I still respect him, and he knows a lot better than I do. Some things, you know, I know because I've been exposed to some things he hasn't. Plus, I'm trying to usher in, you know, the new age. We're still taking some of the old stuff out of the business and trying to put some new stuff in. But he I can't really say that. Speaking of my dad, I didn't put it on silent, but he's taught me a lot I know about business that I didn't learn from school, and he's taught me a lot about being a man, being a father, and some of the things I take, and then I figure the rest of it out myself.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes, man.
Yep, that's what we as parents, them as parents, are charged with. You know, teaching to a certain extent. We're not gonna learn everything.
No.
And we figure the rest of it out as we go.
Because you're taking a totally different journey than what he took. You know, the way he grew up. You know, it may have been way different from how you grew up.
Way different.
And it's gonna be way different for the kids.
That's right.
Which leads me to my next question, man. Like, what do you take from how you grew up? And how do you instill it in your kids today?
So you could call it strict the way I was raised. It was by the book. You know, you follow the rules, do everything you're supposed to do. Yeah. Church, school, work, sports, everything you give 110%. But when I can start from the beginning of parenting, and you know, but before I met my wife, I had a daughter. She was 2 or 3, probably 1 or 2 when we met, and she had a daughter already. Yeah. So she was 4. Layla was 4 when we met, and she wasn't raised the same way. So this really like my first parenting experience. And it was, man, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, I would say between that and marriage is the hardest things, for sure. But as she got older, we grown together. She's 12, almost 13 now. Yeah. We've grown together. I told her she's one of the main reasons, you know, for the man I am today. Man. We kind of rub off on each other. She has come a lot like me. She's a lot like me now. She used to be kind of soft-spoken, and now she ain't scared to say what she got to say. And I appreciate that, you know, within respect. But, you know, between her and my middle daughter, Ashton, and she lives with her mom in another state, And then my youngest, my namesake, Joshua the second,
Yeah.
JT, is I was so glad when he came. I'm like, thank God, reinforcements. I was outnumbered, man.
Too many women, huh?
Yes. But he came along, and I was like, thank God. And it's been like both the most rewarding and the most difficult thing of life right now is parenting.
Yes.
Especially with all the stuff that's going on in our world. They've exposed to stuff that we weren't exposed to when we were kids. Yeah. And I take the stuff that I was learned, that I was taught growing up in the church, and I strayed away for a little while. And it got to a point I was like, babe, we got to get back in church.
Man.
Now, we need to get these kids back in church. There's too much going on in this world. We got to put them back in. And that was first. And grades and everything else is coming along with it. It's difficult, but I mean, it's so rewarding.
Yeah, you embrace it.
And I'm trying to balance compassion with toughness.
Woo.
It's hard to be. You don't want to be too hard on them because
girls, you definitely can't.
Oh yeah, the girls, man. It's a different effect with the girls.
If you had a house full of boys, man, you can probably go.
Yeah, with the boys, it's like I don't have to say much to him.
Yeah.
Because if my wife can't deal with him, she's like, your daddy such and such, and I'd be like,
yeah,
I ain't even really how much gotta say nothing. He's straightened up. He does what he's supposed to do. Exactly. With the girls, it's like, geez, they won't listen to either one of us. But the oldest, man, she's almost teenager now, so she's kind of smelling herself a little bit.
Oh boy.
So it's like I promise you, I've been warning her for years. I said that she's like 5'5", 12 years old, 100 pounds, and she ain't no little kid. And I said, man, I can tell you so much, but you're gonna have to take it. Yeah. I can't make you do a whole lot now. I can make you do some stuff, but you're gonna have to decide. And I used to be the hard one. I used to be the bad cop. Now I'm the good cop. If you don't want to do that, call your mama. I'm gonna call your mama, and I can't. It's over with. She don't want to deal with her. But it's rewarding, man. I thank God for. They say blessed is the man whose quiver is full, and my quiver is full. I can't complain. I got good kids. They're not bad kids. They're hard headed, but. So were we when we were kids. So.
Man, what? That's what we forget. Yeah. We forget how we were when we was kids. We always just assume that kids are supposed to be a certain way, but then you got to think about it, like, how was I when I was that age?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm going to quote Minister Farrakhan with this quote for the next topic. Well, you obviously going to know what it is because it's about the woman. It says, no man is a man without a woman. The woman helps a man be a man. A woman will test you to see if you are what you say you are. A woman that you fall in love with loves you too, but she's going to try you so she can know that she can depend on you. Now tell me, what does this message say to you, and tell me the impact your wife has had on you.
Yeah. I would say that if I heard that quote, and I didn't know that quote before now, but if I heard that quote before I got married, it might be a lot easier for me. But she will test you out in premarital counsel with my pastor. She kind of told me some of those things, and she warned me about some stuff. And because I thought I was all that. Like when I came in, I was like, hey, you ain't got to tell me nothing. I still had the hair and stuff. I'm like, man, you can't tell me nothing right now. I'm God's gift to earth.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily carry myself that way, but I thought that in the back of my head. I didn't realize that I thought that way until she brought that to my attention. Then my wife and I started getting first 5 years. We've been married 7 years now. The first 5 years was really like getting us broken into each other. She was breaking me into, and we evolved as people. Yeah. Let me get that straight. So we're not the same people we were 7 years ago.
Not.
But the effect that she's had on me has had me straighten up. Like, instead of thinking so and so or you did this or I'm good, I don't need no help with none of that. And she started having me look at myself.
Yeah.
Like, okay, search myself. What am I doing? What can I do better as a husband, a father, a man to make everything easier for everybody? And she also showed me how to support her the way she needs to be supported. not the way I thought. Because for years, I'm like, I see her, when I met her, I see her doing all these great things and see her potential that she don't see in herself at the time. And I'm trying to force her to do these things, like, this is what you need to do, this, and this. Treating her more like a child than my partner. And she, once I learned the hard way. See, it take a couple times to be like, I'm leaving. What you gonna? It take a couple times for you. I'm like, okay, let me straighten myself up and make sure I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. So she never did leave, but it got close a couple times for real. It got close. I mean, real talk. It got close, a few times. And it, some of them the same stuff, some of them different things, but I would say she has helped me. Next to my oldest daughter, she has helped me, been the biggest part of me becoming the man I am now. Yeah. And she also, one of the other things, the best lessons that I've learned from her, she said, stop doing so much. Because I've always been that entrepreneurial mind, the podcast, and I can do this business and work full time in that business and do the chamber boards and all these philanthropy things. And I had to slow it down, bro. And that's one of the reasons I hadn't done a podcast in a while, because I got one side of people that need it, and then I got myself just pushing me. Be like, you can't let it go too far. Yeah. You gotta pick it back up. But then I realized, like, those people still need it.
Yeah, of course.
But it's people like you and your platform that are carrying some of that.
Yeah.
It's other avenues out there, and I still send messages to people and do my part. But I gotta take care of home first.
Exactly.
I gotta take care of myself, my wife and kids, not necessarily in that order, but sometimes you do have to take care of yourself first. Let's get that straight.
So you can get yourself in order. So
if you don't have yourself together all the way here, then what you gonna give to anybody else? Wife, kids, people watching, listening, you can't give them nothing. Like you're empty.
Yeah. And
that kind of got me to that place, and she kind of helped me see that. Like you got to take care of yourself. She didn't necessarily say take care of yourself, but she said stop doing so much.
Yeah.
And I started being strategic with my time. I made myself a schedule, and I ain't really stuck to it. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, is there certain things that I got to get done? And if I got extra time, which don't ever happen, if I want to write or whatever, I do that. Everybody's asleep. Yeah. Work on the extra stuff, but. I took that. I took that as one of my number one lessons. Yeah, stop doing so much. Don't put too much on your plate, and because you're only one person, only one man.
That's true, man. Shout out to wifey for those lessons, man. And let me go back to this too, man. If anybody tell you that they got it all together, they are lying or they cheating.
Right.
It's either one or two, because
that's true.
I don't know no perfect relationship. Anybody who's seen like they might be on Facebook taking pictures and doing this and that. Ain't nobody got life perfect. Those be the main
ones that's got problems.
Nobody got it perfectly. Me and my wife, we go through a whole lot of stuff people don't know about. But we rock tight because we communicate about it. We talk about it.
And that's what matters the most. It's not about, hey, look at me. We look all good. We done went on this trip and that trip, and we got kids together. We look happy. That's not real life.
It's not real.
Like it's supposed to be more happy than not. But you got to find your own happiness. Mm-hmm. You got to find your own joy. You can't rely on your partner to give it to you. Yeah. You got to find it in yourself, and then you'll be happy together.
Amen to that, man. Well, all right, man. Now we got to take it back to Oxford. You class of 07, right?
06.
06. Okay,
yes,
I was trying to get you some.
06.
I was trying to take some years
don't
off
get
your
it twisted.
Now,
don't get 06.
I'm trying to help you out, but I guess
06. Don't get it twisted.
Anyway, man, let's talk about 06, man. What do you remember about going to Oxford? Like, what's some memories you got?
We talking about how far back we going?
I'm just talking about like just being at Oxford. I said 06 because you the class 06.
Right.
Just tell me about some fun memories you had about coming up in school.
I'm gonna bring the hard in and then bring the soft. So,
okay.
Starting out, I've been K through 12, Oxford every year. in school. But starting out, I'm trying to find myself.
Yeah.
I'm a mixed kid, light skin amongst, black and white.
Yeah.
For real. I mean, it wasn't
is.
many of us at the time.
Yeah.
It was me,
I
pretty
get what
much
you're
me and my brother, maybe Edward Ashoff, and I can't think of anybody else now. Forgive me, mixed light skinned people, but it was hard for me. I started hanging out with white kids because they gravitated to me and I gravitated to them, and it had nothing to do with color, but that's just how it started out.
Yeah.
And then I had problems with the black kids because they was like, hey, you think you too good, so I was like, well, let me change up something. Then I started getting in trouble, not necessarily just because they were black kids, but because some of those were knuckleheads.
Yeah.
And I was too busy trying to please them and fit in, and grades started dropping. It just wasn't me. And once I decided, okay, it's not about black or white, this side or that side, or who accepts you and don't. First of all, if they don't accept you, they're not your friends. I don't care white, black,
True. Male,
female, mixed or not. That's not your friend. If they don't accept you for who you are, that's a tidbit for the day. But after I came to terms with who I was as a person, okay, I'm neither one. I'm both. I'm all the above. I'm me. And then I started getting back into it. Okay, he's a good dude. He's still the same person. I'm still the same person. But the athlete, academics, always good grades, charming. All the teachers love. I can't say I had a teacher that didn't like me, just because at the time I thought I was that, but it wasn't me that they were attracted to. It was the light in me and good personality that I was blessed with. But best memories, sports, friends. Some friends I still keep in contact with. We got really close. We had a classmate, Caleb Mize, pass away our senior year.
Oh, wow.
And that brought us real close together. So it was camaraderie. And if I call some of those people today, they'd do anything for me.
That's good.
But the sports, really, it was a great experience. I'd say that's probably the highlight
The sports.
of everything. Football, soccer, track, did powerlifting 1 year.
Did everything.
I got medals and stuff all over there. Track.
I see it.
And, I still carry it with me today. It's, jersey up there. Forgot about that.
They can't take that away from
They
me.
can't take it from me, man. I got rings, and I learned in sports, about competition, about winning, and always been a winner. Don't like losing. Nobody likes losing.
Nobody likes losing.
But I took that into life, like just winning everything.
Yeah.
Be the best.
All right,
Be the best at something.
Give me some athletes, man. Who you remember playing against or playing with?
Like,
Tell me some top names of people that may have forgotten or something.
Well, Matt Maloof was my quarterback back then, and I say that because I talked to him the other day. So it's a lot of people. It's not many that really just contact on a daily basis. Tashana Dukes, we do business and stuff together.
Yeah.
She's gonna do my kids' hair this weekend.
Okay.
It's a lot of good people. Tim Burkhead, he and I are, I go visit him Nashville every now and then. Not necessarily sports. He and I play soccer together. But he's a heck of a musician. But it's a lot of people that you make that bond with.
Yeah.
And I keep it today. You never burn your bridges.
No.
Don't burn your bridge. I don't care how much you say you dislike that person or they dislike you or whatever. And some of those people that did me wrong back then, I didn't do them wrong back. I stayed, okay, let me figure out this and then regroup. So, they probably think highly of me now. People, they ain't sitting like, well, Josh is just this and that. And a lot of people that didn't know me, they used to talk about, he's stuck up and this and that. And when they get to know me, they're like, oh, he is.
Understand, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. But you got that guard up, man. Like, I've had that guard up a long time and still keep it up in certain situations.
Yeah, for sure.
But not in a way that it makes you, turns your heart hard or anything. But that ain't what you asked me.
Hey, but that's good insight though, man. I like it. The Oxford Eagle wrote a piece on you, man. about these tiny homes.
Okay.
Got to discuss it, man. I love the idea behind it.
Alright.
Man. I loved it, man. Tell me, what was your whole thought process behind that?
Okay, first of all, I didn't ask for the article. That was not like, I wasn't going to be like, oh, I need to grandstand and, be seen and all that. So what the article came from the supervisors meeting. I had a reporter from HottyToddy.com contact me after the meeting, and she was like, I'm just trying to get there and get my stuff passed. At this point, I'm like, I ain't trying to be seen, heard, nothing. I ain't even get up. They didn't ask me questions. I just sat there and was like, okay, all right, I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah.
And she said, do you want to talk about affordable housing? And that's one of the things I had in mind when I had the tiny home idea. And for the record, anybody that doesn't understand what a tiny home is, it's just, what we call a space efficient home, a little bit smaller than what you would have. Anything, it could be considered anything less than 1,000 square feet. And some of them are as small as 200 square feet. Mine are, around 400 or so. But the wave is coming around about these tiny homes. Everybody's finding creative ways to make the space efficient.
Yeah.
I'm hearing families living in 300, 400 square foot homes, and the supervisors, not just supervisors, but people in the government don't care for the word tiny home, because it's like you can just hook to a trailer and take off with your house. And these are not those kind of homes. These are going to be tied down to the ground, not going to fly away. I can't hook to it and take off. They're going to be there, until I decide to do something else. They'll be there indefinitely. But when the reason I did all of this, I'm doing this now, I'm still working on them as we speak, but when I ran for public office 2019, one of the main concerns that I'm hearing at the time is about affordable housing.
Yes. Preach.
So there's people misuse the word affordable housing sometimes because it's relative to the area or the person or whatever, the income, and our median income doesn't necessarily yield what affordable housing is here. So, the median income, I hadn't checked it recently, but it was 60, 70 grand or something like that.
That does not reflect.
And that's not multi-family. That doesn't include. That's for like a 2 or 3 person home. That's not double income and all that.
Yes.
I mean, you got. I just came off of Highway 30 earlier, and they're building $500,000 homes out there. And nothing wrong with that. Go build them and they're already sold pretty much.
Wow.
But for people like us that are working class people, and people don't understand, they think, a lot of people think, well, Josh McGlawn got all this money. And I mean, I grew up, I was not lacking when I grew up, but as a kid, I mean, we were working, we were getting secondhand clothes and shoes and stuff, and people think I just always had it together. Oh. And that's not the case. I still don't have it together. I got my own now, separate from my parents. They've got a successful business. I've got a successful business, but I'm still figuring it out, bro. Like money, dollar wise, I mean, I can't go buy no $500,000 house right now.
Neither.
I can't, or even a fraction of that. Man. To be real. So I'm like, let me take this upon myself, and I did some research, and people are starting to turn portable sheds, which meet codes. They meet all these codes that people freaking out about. Not us people, consumers, but the government type people. Like, well, we don't want to see all these things popping up all over the place. Well, I mean, what's the problem? If they're meeting the codes, doing what you want to do, and they look good, I mean, I'm not finna just put anything out there. These are nice places. I mean, I'm making
your name's tied behind that.
My name is tied to it. I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna do something that I would live in. You know what I'm saying? So exactly. I'm gonna have something nice and affordable. Relatively affordable. I mean, it's the term for it just gets thrown around so much.
Yeah, it
Affordable. What is affordable? You know, so I'm trying to create something that's, you know, make me some money, because I can't afford to just do something and give it away, you know.
Yeah.
I made, you know, developed a business model to where it'll make me some money. I'm not making a killing, but it's making me some money behind the construction and stuff, and also providing a service that's not it's not be, you know, there are a couple of projects in Oxford that they've developed, you know, and they call it affordable housing, and it is affordable rent, but that's only part of the solution. You know, you can't just build something and say we did something. Yeah, that's the solution, and it's a continual process. It really and is. It's a lot to it. It's deep, it's long, and this goes back way before us. Well, yeah. So it's not gonna happen overnight. Yeah, but see, the thing about it is, people can't complain if they're not trying to do anything about it or trying to see about it. You know, there's no need in you complaining. You're actually taking steps on. You're just one person. You're actually taking steps on trying to, you know, solve it. So, you know, you can't really complain about it if you're not trying to take the necessary steps. You can't say you don't have time, because we have time to do all the other things we want to do in life. So if it's something that's really important to you, then you would do like you did. Go look up the information, or at least try to talk to somebody who can, because it's information out there. We just have to go out there and seek it. That's it. And that's where I'm saving a lot of money at, because I know how to do a lot of those things. Yeah. I have some equipment and experience, so I'm donating a lot of my time into this. Yeah. That's what's saving some money. And a lot of people don't, you know, they don't want to sacrifice their time or their, you know, some of their assets or whatever they have to offer. And that's what we have to offer a lot, is ourselves and our time. That's it. And I'm putting in long hours trying to get these things ready to, you know, because there are people that need them. It's not just like, you know, hey, that looks like a nice place to stay. It's because it's Josh McGlawn, I'm going to go stay there. no, that ain't the case. No, it ain't got nothing to do with me. They just happen to, and thanks to HottyToddy.com for putting the article out, because I got 1 million calls the next day, and like calls and emails, and like, oh, teach me how to do this, or you want to do this, and you know, I'm getting all kinds of questions and requests. Good, and I appreciate the exposure, but at the same time, I'm working. Yeah. You know, I'm doing it for a purpose, and I think this is one of the things that God has purposed me with. Wow. Like not just to, you know, make a living or make some passive income, you know, with rental properties, but to provide something. Yeah, help people. Yeah, that's at the end of the day, that's what makes you sleep better. Wow. The gratification behind helping somebody, man. That's right. I wish I had your brain, man. I can just be able to do stuff like that. No, you don't. This is my service to people here, to be able to put people like you on Broadway, so you can. I appreciate that. So they know, because a lot of people. I mean, you're a very known person, but a lot of people that don't know you, man. There's a lot of that people don't know that you do behind the sines. That's so they need to know. That's why I really wanted to do this interview, because I'm like, this guy right here he's and we ain't even got to the half of it. He's incredible, man. He's doing a lot of stuff. It's a blessing and a curse, man. You say you wish you had my brain. No, you don't. Like, sometimes I wish. It's hard to shut it off, you know. And I've struggled with that for years, like shutting that thing off when I go to bed. I stay up tossing and turning, and I've learned how to like decompress and, you know, write and unload some things, and not just take it to bed with me, and like just tossing and turning all night. But I'm trying to use the gifts that God gave me to, and one of them is my mind. Yes, because I ain't short of ideas, and that's one of the things my wife loves and hates about me, because I got 1 million ideas, but learning which ones to, you know, tackle and which ones to put on the shelf. Okay, that's a good idea. Let me write that down, put it on the shelf for later. This is what I'm working on right now. Let me separate them. Yeah, because I used to mix them up so much. And, yeah. All right, so let me see. I want you to tell me about one of your worst experiences that you had in your life, and how did you learn from it? Because I want people to understand that, like you say, you know,
you're here sometime, and
Yep.
sometimes you can be here. So I want you to
Yep.
tell me about a low moment that you turned into a high moment.
Yep. Good question. I would say probably one of the lowest moments of my life when I ruptured my Achilles.
Ooh.
Back in 2015. Had proposed to my wife a few months earlier, and when I played a charity flag football game. Wasn't making no money. When it's just charity flag football game, it just was not in the best shape of my life. You know, I could run a lot, but hammies was tight, and as soon as I made that move, I heard it and felt it just it just gone. Like, and I've been moving all my life. Like anybody that's ever seen me play ball has seen how I'm quick. Like I ain't stopping. Like I play soccer, so I'm always running.
So you always on.
running, ran track. Never been at a point where I had to sit down. Never had, and that was one of the toughest things to actually have to sit down. And never had surgery on anything.
You just let it naturally heal?
No, well, I had surgery on it, but before then.
Oh, I was like, whoa.
But I played sports all my life. You know, I played as a kid, high school, college. Never had any injuries like that. You know, I've had stuff where like bumps and bruises and bang, like stuff really hurts. Like go to the training room type stuff, but not go to the operating room kind of stuff. And he said, Dr. Terry, he said you can let it heal on its own, or you can get it repaired, and you could be good as new, and it's stronger than it ever was. But the hardest part about it was sitting down, and no matter what type of prescription they gave me, it always hurt. Like that was I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. That was some of the worst pain that I've ever, and it was humiliating sometimes because I had to ride the little scooter. It didn't have no motor. I was pushing the leg, and it was very humbling. Like around my kids, and I would fall sometimes. I would get caught up on stuff. We went to a cruise not long after I got my cast on, or I took the cast off and I had the boot.
Yeah.
So we went on a cruise to the Bahamas, and I oh my God, I was like, oh my, this is like smack in the middle. It's on the back end, but it wasn't to where I was walking, you know. So I took the crutches and the scooter and everything, and I just had to watch people have fun.
Oh man, I know that stuff.
Yeah, like I couldn't sleep. Like no matter how much medication they gave me for the pain, and I was restless. Like I guess God was dealing with me or something. He was talking. I started writing on some stuff. I started seeking God more. And my wife, I always kept saying, well, I'm down this time. She was like, no, you're not down. You're just taking a break.
That's it.
And that's still, she probably don't remember she told me that, but that still sticks with me now. And it was a humbling experience, and I'm stronger than ever. I came back, played another season of flag football. I was quick and faster than before. Not fast as I was, maybe in high school or college, but, quicker and faster. I was like, man, like, I feel like when I wasn't using my hands, like now I'm catching a lot better. But it was an experience that instead of feeling sorry for myself, which I did at times, my wife was there to help pick me up.
Back up, yeah, man.
And I took it, and now looking back on it, that was one of the probably worst and best times of my life.
Moments. I remember I was watching the DC Young Flyer interview when he was talking about how when he got jumped and almost lost his life, and he couldn't, he had to stay in the bed for, them weeks or whatever. He said it helped him to be able to memorize stuff. He said he started, taking his life progressing, figuring out things more. So I'm quite sure that had some type of effect on you in that regards, like maybe doing things. Because he said he wasn't good with memorizing stuff and things like that. So did you learn a little trait maybe? Got better, like you say, with names or something like that?
Well, the Inn and Ole Miss helped me with the names, so I didn't need a whole lot of help in that area. Shout out to them. But I don't know if I necessarily picked up something, but like I said, I started writing.
Yeah,
I had always been into writing and stuff, but I probably got during that time. I didn't complete any books or anything, but I probably got like a dozen concepts for books, like titles, concepts, or whatever, and have since written on probably 2 or 3 of those, and developed, almost a full book on one. But that was not necessarily something that I learned new, but it helped me to learn how to focus on those things, like drown out the pain. And trust me, the medication didn't drown it out.
Man,
excuse me. I don't care how much they upped it, and it just didn't. It wasn't working. God was putting me through something on purpose.
Yeah, he definitely was.
So it was like I wouldn't wish it upon anyone, man. But it still hurts sometimes if I drive a long time, or if I sit a long time and get stiff.
I usually get old. That ain't got nothing to do with that.
Okay. Yeah, it's some parts that hurt definitely from my kids said, "You getting old?" I said, "No, I'm not getting old, but I ain't younger than I was yesterday."
Just keep living. You'll see.
Right.
See what's going on.
Oh, you think I'm old? Right. No, grandma and granddaddy, they old.
All right, man. My last question for you, man. Legacy. You got them beautiful kids, man. You got your beautiful wife. What legacy is Josh trying to leave when it's all said and done?
Legacy. That's what it's all about. The legacy is not about necessarily what you accomplished yesterday or what you're doing in this moment, but it's what you're doing in this moment, developing the legacy.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just doing stuff to be doing it, it's almost a waste of time.
Yeah, of course.
But if you're doing it with a purpose, and my purpose is legacy, and it should be that way. I'm trying to build up wealth, real estate. They ain't making land no more.
Nope.
The value of the dollar maybe, might go down a little bit, but the land, develop, a portfolio of assets to pass down to my kids so they can have something, because that's one of the separators between the minority community and the non-minority community, because they got that stuff passed down.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to make a difference in my community to strengthen my name. And, even if I want to have my name so strong, not my name Josh, but McGlawn.
I know what you mean.
But I want to have that name so strong that it goes down when I'm gone. Like, when I'm gone, that name goes down even outside of this community. So the stuff that I'm doing, whether I'm writing, because that's going to last a long time, books, movies, and whatever, and all the digital stuff that they got now, probably ain't gonna be no paper when we got great grandkids down
yeah, for real.
but just a catalog of things, not to say, hey, this is what my dad or granddad did or whatever, but maybe that does help.
Yeah. Because
my grandfather is, I'm a 3rd generation business owner. I've been 50 years this year.
That's good,
and
man.
If it wasn't for him living the way that he did and having the name, like building the name that he had, he wasn't, one of those. Trust me, he ain't one that got pushed around. He ain't just a master kind of. So, but he also didn't push the envelope. He understood the way things worked back then, and I understand the way things work now. I think that's one of the reasons I'm successful in what I do.
Yeah. Because
I understand. I read the room. I understand who's there and what's going on in the background, the front, and all that, and not making enemies, but making allies.
Yeah.
And that's continuing my name. When I first started my campaign a few years ago, I was Taylor's son, and now people recognize my dad as Josh's dad. And that's the way it should be flipped around.
Yeah.
That's how you pass the legacy, because he did so well. And when we went to the awards ceremony the other night, it just had people saying, like, you did a good job with this one, you did a good job. And that's what we're charged with as parents. You did a good job with their child so they can take it up and do the next one.
Yes, sir.
Pass it on to the next and the next.
Yes, sir. It's your opportunity to give somebody their flowers while they still able to hear you. Who you giving them to?
Okay. I would say my wife. Since everybody thinks that you got to give the wife the flowers all the time, but this is for real. Like I really, like she really deserves it, and she loves real flowers. You know, every now and then. It's been a while, but she's been killing it right now. Not only she's holding the house down, holding my back, you know, with all the stuff that I've been having going on, schedule just stacked up.
Yeah.
But she's been holding it down when I'm not around and filling in. But she's making her own moves in her career. Not only she still's got the makeup business, but she's also, you know, advancing in other areas. Yeah. I don't want to spill her own news, but she's advancing in areas in her own career. And forever, I was making my own moves, and she thought it was just for me. She's like, "You making those moves and this and that just for you?" First of all, everything that I do, I consider the entire group.
Yeah.
I look from. It used to be just kids first, and then the wife, and I was like, okay, well, let me. The wife. We have an understanding, so I need to make sure I'm taking care of her and the kids in all my decisions. That's every day when I wake up to the time that I lay down. So even after I lay down and my mind's still going, I make those decisions for my wife and kids. But it looked like I was just doing me. I went to go try to get my PhD, and she was for that. I went to try to run for public office. She hated that, but she went with it, and it was a crazy experience. But she went with it, and she even went so far lately. It said, "If you decide to run again, I got your back."
Oh wow, that's big.
Yeah, it's big,
we need you to do
that. especially how she felt about it the first time around. You know, that's huge. That just shows her own personal growth. Mm-hmm. But she's growing in her own lane that ain't stepping nobody else. It ain't just I'm doing me. I'm doing me to better the group. Exactly. Which is, you know, always what I've been doing. But I had to step back for a second and say, hey, if you need to, go do you. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. I got your back. Now that I've learned how to actually support her and not stop telling her what to do or how to do it, she's feel comfortable with making those steps on her own. So, baby, I give my hat, flowers, everything to you. I'm going to get you some real flowers here pretty soon. Q Love. Everybody calls you Love now. So, Love, I appreciate you. I love you. Keep doing what you're doing. As JT says, you got this, mommy.
Shout out to wifey, man. Matter of fact, shout out to all the wives holding their husbands down in the household, man. Y'all do so much, and we just want to say we love y'all. Just because we don't say it every day don't mean that we don't love y'all.
That's right.
We don't hold the car door every time we get out the car for you. Don't mean we don't love you. We still love you. We just got to show it in our own way. We men. That's how we do. That's
right. And guys, don't be afraid to tell your wife that she's doing good, or give her just a little encouraging word, or say, "You look beautiful today, love. You killing this." Yeah. Especially when you know that she's kind of having a rough day, or surprise her at work with some flowers. Surprise, you know what I'm saying? And that's what she loves, that crap. Like
surprises.
Yeah, she got mad at me one time because other people was bringing flowers and stuff to work, and I was like, I got you flowers waiting on you at home, but she wants to see that public display. And just, man, go out your way sometimes, because she go out our way for you. Like, she goes out her way for you. So just go out your way sometimes. Trust me, it'll go a long way if you do that. Man, you gonna reap the benefits, man.
Happy wife, happy life. I can say it, man. We married. We right. No shagging around here.
That's right. That's real talk. Oh, yeah.
Man, well, I appreciate you, man.
Man, for sure, man. For sure.
This interview was dope, man. I love hearing black excellence. Yep. Back on that mayor tip, man. We gonna need you to get on out there and do that again, man. Hey, we were so happy. I'm telling you, man, the whole city was pulling for you so hard, man.
I appreciate it, man. Well, I'm gonna tell you like I tell everybody else. When it comes time to make the decision, I'm going to consult with the Lord, my wife, and my other mentors and other people, and myself, and all that lines up, then I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it. Yes, sir. Follow your heart, man. God will lead you the right direction.
That's right.
Man. All right, we out of here, baby. Check out this new episode of SIPTLK Podcast.
Peace.